Oh no. That's the worst thing that FSD has done in months for me. Maybe it has been studying human drivers a little too closely there. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another full self-driving video. In this one, we're going to be checking out version 13.2.8. Now, if we hop here inside of the patch notes, you're not going to notice any significant changes or any changes at all, actually. You can't, destination options are still not available. Really nothing's changed from 13.2.7, but I have heard that there are some performance improvements that kind of went maybe undocumented. So people are having a lot more success getting it to park in a parking spot when it gets to its destination, which I have had it do before on 13.2.7, but they say on this newer version it does it very regularly, and also that it gives you a little bit more of a leash when you're actually looking at or interacting with the display. So the driver attention monitoring isn't as strict. So we're going to test both of those things and see how we do. Let's go ahead, press and hold, and get going. All right, it did this to me on my last drive on 13.2.7 where it says object in path detected. There is quite literally nothing in our path. So there we go. Okay. I don't know what it thought might be there, but there's definitely nothing there. But we're going now. So I don't know what this is that I'm in the parking lot of. Some kind of factory or something. We got a speed bump here. Handled that fine. There's someone kind of walking out right here, but they're stopping. Okay. Yeah, some kind of big factory thing. There's another speed bump here. These are very hard to see. But I mean, we're going, the speed limit of a parking lot, so it doesn't really matter. But I do want to make sure we monitor speed bump behavior, because I had a really good drive with speed bumps and a really bad drive with speed bumps on the last version. All right, we're up on the main road and we are cruising. This is a hardware 4 vehicle and we are in the hurry profile for those that are always curious about that. I actually did 2 drives recently on 13.2.7. One just normal drive, and then I did one kind of late evening or late afternoon, early evening in a pretty heavy storm. So if you guys want to check that out and see how FSD does in some heavy rainfall, definitely go check out my last video. All right, we got a railroad track here. Slowed down nice for that. I'm going to test right now the looking at the display thing and see how long we actually get. I feel like I'm pretty used to how long I normally get to look at the screen. So I'm just going to mess around with navigation. Yeah. I mean, that beeped at me pretty quick. That didn't feel any different to me. Let me try just looking around out the windows and stuff. I don't know. Obviously, there's no documentation of that being a change, so it's hard to really criticize FSD for that, but I have seen some people saying it's better. That didn't feel better to me. That felt exactly the same. So I'm going to give that a no right now, at least in my experience. Obviously, FSD versions and their effectiveness vary wildly from vehicle to vehicle, so... All right, we got a little slippage right there. I don't know if you saw that little stutter. We do have some slick spots on the road. It snowed like, I don't know, 4 days ago or something like that. So it not completely cleared off yet. I did want to make a video when it was snowing, but it was too late at night. It was like 3 a.m. So wasn't trying to get up that early for an FSD video. All right, I can't see it all here, so it's going to go ahead and scoot up so it can see a little better, then go. So we made our full NHTSA stop at the stop sign, then we rolled forward. Again, not really how a human driver would do it, but technically correct. I don't know if you guys can see this on here since the navigation is so small, but sometimes it feels like it's like not, the navigation isn't exactly lining up with what it shows. I've noticed that a few times lately. Now, sometimes that's because of outdated navigation and they've reworked this street. Like it used to be a little bit more over there, but then we can kind of see where it lines back up. But I always think that's weird when it kind of goes off script there a little bit. It's funny that it yelled at me to look at the screen once I'd already started looking back forward, or to not look at the screen when I already looked back forward, but whatever. All right, we're at New Song Christian Fellowship. Let's see what we do. It's looking like it's just gonna pull me up here. Yeah. So I saw, I think it was AI driver say if you drop a pin that you have a higher likelihood of it parking in a spot. So I'm going to just put like a pin right here and just try to see if it does anything different, like if it puts me in a spot. Like a pin instead of a location. No. All right, that didn't work either. All right, we'll try a different spot. I don't know, guys. I put the clip in my last video, but I had one time where it took me to Chick-fil-A for lunch, just beautifully, straight to it, found a spot, backed me right into the spot. I mean, it was so normal and nice and natural, and I just have not been able to replicate it. Wow, that was just really ballsy there. I don't know if you guys could see that there, but I was at a stop sign and then I started FSD and it just went, and there was a car coming like technically I think I had enough room when I really when it gave it some juice there, but that was just I would not have gone. I would have waited one car there, but that was crazy. But we're back cruising here. New destination put in. A little quick in this neighborhood, I think. Going 6 miles an hour over. Nothing crazy, but I like it to stick more towards the speed limit in a neighborhood. Just because there's little kids that could be running across the road or whatever. Now we're up to 8 miles an hour. So I'm going to force it to drop down. Just because I feel like you're much more likely to get a ticket in a neighborhood. And again, it's just not that safe. I'd prefer it to be slower in the neighborhood, quicker on the main roads. don't know exactly what it is, because it's so hard to like compare version to version when there's not big tangible changes. And this is a three-way stop, so we should just go. Yeah, just go. But this version so far, in what I've used for 32 minutes of driving, just feels less smooth than the last version. And again, all of these are really like anecdotal and really personal. Like, I guess that's kind of what anecdotal is, but just like, it's a whole experience thing. It's a feel thing. It's less of what I can communicate over the camera and more of what it feels like to sit in the seat. But it just feels kind of, it's doing the thing that I talked about on one of my Cybertruck videos, where it kind of does this like stop and go kind of, not braking, but like you can just tell it's like doing some regen, then speeding back up, then regenning, then speeding back up, like to maintain speed, which feels really, really weird comparatively, because the last version, 13.7 and 13.2.2, which I had for like a month and a half, was so much better at not doing that. Like, it was just butter all the time. You just kind of, you would glide all over the place and you never felt that weird stuttering. And so far on this drive, I felt a lot of that kind of weird stopping and going. I'm going to keep being like hyper specific about that and see if I can feel that still. But been a little weird. I feel like I used to know somebody that lived in that exact house. It just like, I saw that house and it was like my brain just opened up. That was weird. I don't know if that was actually it, but I mean, it looked identical. I used to go there all the time when I was a kid. This speed control in the neighborhood has been a lot better though. That one neighborhood, it was flying. All right, so we're not even like at a house really. So it's just gonna pull me off on the side here. We're just in the middle, like between houses. Bad pin drop by me. All right, I've got another destination in. Let's hit a few more stops here before we call it quits for this video. But like I said, so far it's been a little bit stuttery, and I'm hoping that on this next little stretch, we do a lot better in that category, but we'll see. We're going to a Walmart that is 9.4 miles away. So this will probably be the last bit of this video, but we'll see if right at the end we can get it to park in in a spot, and if not, we'll mark down both of the so-called like under the radar improvements as not accurate in my experience, but we'll see. I think for the first part of this, we're just going to be getting out of this neighborhood, so I'm just going to fast forward through that. All right. Did you guys see that? We just flew through that stop sign. Oh, no. Remember when I said at the beginning of this video that it feels like a little bit of a regression? I didn't disengage because I was just going to let it do its thing and there was nobody around. But that's the worst thing that FSD has done in months for me. So, oh boy. Well, I hate doing this like back and forth titling thing on my videos where I'm like, oh, we're so close to perfect, which was true. We had one issue and then we did the rain drive and it was perfect the whole rain drive. And you're like, oh my gosh, it's right there. Like, oh, we're right. And then it blows through a stop sign 1 point update newer. Man, really frustrating. It didn't even, sorry. It didn't even think about slowing down for that stop sign. You just don't get to do that. You don't get to just decide there's nobody around. Maybe it has been studying human drivers a little too closely there. Golly, that's just horrible. But this is why I like to do these incremental update videos, because, you know, we've talked a lot in the past about how ideally, right, FSD would be constantly evolving on every point version. But because it's being trained on hours and hours and probably thousands, millions maybe hours of driving footage, like, it's going to pick up on things and get sometimes worse, and then sometimes way better, and then sometimes a little bit worse, and sometimes a little bit better. It's going to do these like kind of up and down dances where it goes from being great to being not so great to being really great. And again, experience varies wildly with this software. So sometimes I'll get a point version like 13.2.2 or 2.7, and I'll be like, this is amazing. I don't have any issues. I use it all the time. It's perfect for me. And other people are like, this is unusable for me. And I'm just, it's crazy. It's so wildly diverse in user experience. And so for some people, 13.2.8 might be flawless, and it's just not been great for me. All right, we're about a mile and a half away from our destination, so I wanted to give you guys kind of a recap of how this drive went. So my GoPros actually had a problem. I think this one specifically glitched out and messed up, so I don't think I have the footage from the very beginning of the drive. I think I started like later on, but at the very beginning of the drive, I started in a parking lot, and it took me the most convoluted way to get out of the parking lot I've ever seen. It didn't just go to one of the main entrances. It like wound its way through and then went through like a little opening in the gas station. So super weird off the bat. And I was like, it's probably just that one thing. Hopefully it gets better. Then throughout the drive, I've pointed out a few times, we've had some like stuttery issues where it's like, you probably can't see it on camera, but I can feel the kind of regen kind of doing this breathing thing where it's speeding up, slowing down, speeding up, slowing down. Just feels like uneasy and not as smooth as it's felt on the previous versions. I pointed out that most likely we got kind of a silent update to where it would park itself more consistently in parking lots and then give you a little bit more time. And sorry, I'm really congested here. A little bit more time to look at the display and interact with it to do navigation stuff. I found both of those things to be untrue, at least for me personally. And then we had the interaction when it turned out of the church parking lot. It turned essentially right in front of a car that was coming down the road, and luckily it was able to speed up enough. I can't remember if I actually touched the acceleration pedal or not. I don't think I did. I think it just sped up really quick, but I may have like panic touched the accelerator. That was a really not great interaction. Then it did okay, And then we got into that neighborhood and we were exiting the neighborhood and it just blew right past a stop sign. So just overall pretty bad. Let's see if we can get it to do one cool thing and just park me in this parking lot at least. It looks like it's gonna take me to like the back of the building, which is weird. Oh, it's taking me through the pharmacy drive-in. It's literally taking me to like the loading bays, and this is a do not enter. It says delivery traffic only. We're delivery traffic and we entered through a do not enter. And we are back in the loading bays. Shout out FSD for taking me to the loading bays. And I am just gonna take over. Actually, I was gonna say I hope it does something cool, but you know what? That was the perfect summation to my first drive on 13.2.8. Just freaking weird. So, sorry I can't be more positive in this video, guys, but I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, drop a like. Let me know down in the comments what's your experience been. I'm super curious, because that was rough for me. But let me know down in the comments what your experience has been so far. And of course, don't forget to hit that subscribe button to be among the first to see every single new video the second I hit publish. We'll see you in the next one.